Woolly Story. Welcome to my cozy little corner of YouTube, where you can unwind and drift off to sleep while listening to some soothing bedtime stories. This is the perfect place for those who want to absorb new vocabulary while listening to bedtime stories before drifting off to sleep. So get comfy, relax, and let me help you drift off into dreamland. The sun had barely risen over the imperial city of Luoyang, and already the bustling streets were filled with the aroma of freshly steamed buns and the chatter of merchants opening their shops. Lin, a young and intelligent woman, was the daughter of Minister Wang, a high-ranking official in the imperial court. Their family lived in a sprawling estate, adorned with lush gardens and elegant pavilions. On this particular morning, Lin was sitting in her favorite pavilion, engrossed in reading the latest volume of medical texts. As she flipped through the pages, she dreamt of one day becoming a renowned physician, healing the sick and saving lives. A sudden gust of wind blew through the pavilion, causing the pages to flutter wildly. Lin's younger brother, Bao, appeared, panting heavily. "Sister, father has called for you," he gasped. "A messenger from the emperor has arrived, and it seems urgent." Lin's heart skipped a beat, and she hurriedly followed Bao to their father's study. Upon entering, they found Minister Wang standing solemnly, clutching a scroll bearing the imperial seal. "Lin, my dear," her father began, "I have received a decree from the emperor himself." His voice trembled as he continued, "The emperor has chosen you to marry Prince Jin from the distant kingdom of Yindra, to strengthen the alliance between our nations." Lin felt the ground beneath her feet crumble. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. "But, father, my dreams," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Minister Wang sighed deeply, his eyes filled with sorrow. "I know, my child, but the emperor's will is absolute. This marriage is of utmost importance to our nation." Lin's mother, Lady Yun, entered the room, her eyes red from crying. She tried to lighten the mood with a small joke. "Well, at least Prince Jin is said to be quite handsome, according to the court ladies," she said, attempting a smile. Bao chimed in, grinning cheekily, "Sister, I'll make sure to take good care of your books while you're gone." Despite their attempts at humor, Lin's heart remained heavy. She spent the following days in a daze, as the reality of her situation slowly sunk in. It was during a walk in the gardens with her best friend, May, when Lin finally broke down. "May, I cannot bear the thought of leaving everything behind. My family, my friends, my dreams, all for a stranger in a foreign land." Lin sobbed. May embraced her friend tightly, unable to find the words to comfort her. "I know it's hard, Lin. But maybe, just maybe, something good will come out of this," she whispered, her own tears falling silently. As the days passed, Lin began to accept her fate. Her love for her country and her duty as a daughter eventually prevailed over her personal dreams. With a heavy heart, she prepared herself for the long journey across the seas and the uncertain future that awaited her. With only a week left before her departure, the Wang estate was in a flurry of activity. Seamstresses worked tirelessly to create the most exquisite gowns for Lin, while cooks filled the kitchen with the fragrant aroma of Lin's favorite dishes. One evening, as Lin sat in her room surrounded by trunks filled with her belongings, she heard a gentle knock on the door. "Come in," she called out, expecting to see her mother or May. Instead, an elderly woman entered, her face creased with years of wisdom and kindness. "Forgive me, my lady," the woman said, bowing deeply. "I am Li, and I have been assigned to accompany you on your journey to Yindra as your personal attendant." Lin smiled warmly, sensing a genuine kindness in Li's eyes. "Thank you, Li. I am grateful to have you by my side. Over the next few days, Lee and Lin grew closer, as Lee shared her wealth of knowledge about Yindra's customs, language, and history. Lee even taught Lin how to prepare a few traditional Yindran dishes, filling the kitchen with laughter as they fumbled with unfamiliar ingredients. As the day of departure drew near, Lin's family and friends gathered for a farewell banquet. The night was filled with laughter, tears, and heartfelt toasts. Bao, unable to hold back his emotions, surprised Lin by reciting a heartfelt poem he had composed in her honor. Sister, like the moon's soft glow, your love has guided us through the darkest nights. As you embark on your journey, may our love light your path, even across the vastest seas. Touched by her brother's words, Lin embraced him, fighting back her own tears. I promise to return someday, Bao. Until then, keep studying and make our family proud. The following morning, Lin stood at the harbor, dressed in a beautiful silk gown, a mix of excitement and dread churning within her. Her family and friends surrounded her, offering their final words of encouragement and love. May, choking back sobs, pressed a small, intricately carved jade pendant into Lin's hand. I want you to have this, Lin. It belonged to my grandmother, and it has always brought me comfort in times of need. Lin held the pendant tightly, her eyes glistening with tears. Thank you, May. I will treasure this always. As the ship set sail, Lin stood at the bow, watching her loved ones grow smaller and smaller until they disappeared beyond the horizon. She felt a gentle hand on her shoulder, and turned to see Lee standing beside her. Do not fear, my lady, Lee said softly. Together, we will face whatever challenges await us in Yindra. And remember, you carry the love and hopes of everyone here in your heart. With a determined nod, Lin took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to embrace her new life across the seas. The voyage to the kingdom of Yindra was long and arduous. Lin, Lee, and the crew of the Sea Serpent faced treacherous storms, navigating towering waves and howling winds. The ship was tossed like a toy in a turbulent sea, and Lin clung to her jade pendant, whispering silent prayers for their safety. One day, as the storm subsided, Lin found herself sharing stories with Lee in their cramped cabin. Lin spoke of her dreams of becoming a physician, while Lee recounted her years serving the imperial court and studying ancient texts. During one such conversation, Lee revealed a startling prophecy she had discovered in an old scroll. The prophecy speaks of a union between two distant kingdoms, brought together by a woman from the land of the rising sun. This union will bring about a golden age of prosperity and wisdom. Lin raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And you believe that I am this woman? Lee nodded solemnly. I cannot be certain, my lady, but I believe that your marriage to Prince Jin may be the key to fulfilling this ancient prophecy. As the days passed and the ship sailed closer to Yindra, Lin found herself contemplating Lee's words. The weight of the prophecy hung heavily on her shoulders, but it also filled her with a sense of purpose she had not felt since leaving her homeland. One evening, as Lin and Lee sat on the deck, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Lin finally spoke. Lee, I don't know if I am the woman from the prophecy, but if there is even a chance that my marriage to Prince Jin can bring about positive change, I am willing to embrace it. Lee smiled, her eyes filled with pride. My lady, your courage and selflessness are truly remarkable. I have no doubt that you will make a great difference, no matter the challenges you face. The following morning, the crew spotted the first signs of land on the horizon. The lush, green coastline of Yindra stretched out before them, a stark contrast to the vast, endless sea they had left behind. As the ship drew closer to the shores of Yindra, Lin's heart raced with anticipation. The crew busied themselves preparing the Sea Serpent for arrival, as Lin and Lee shared a quiet moment on the deck. Remember, My lady, Lee whispered, you carry the love and hopes of your homeland with you. Trust in your own strength, and you will find the way forward. With the jade pendant firmly in her grasp, Lin took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the distant shore. She was ready to face her new life, her new destiny, and whatever the kingdom of Yindra had in store for her. Upon their arrival in the kingdom of Yindra, Lin and Lee were greeted by a colorful procession of dancers, musicians, and nobles. The air was thick with the fragrance of exotic flowers and spices, a testament to the kingdom's rich and diverse culture. Despite the warm welcome, Lin found herself struggling to adapt to her new surroundings. The language was difficult to grasp, and she stumbled through conversations with the help of Lee's patient guidance. In the days leading up to her wedding, Lin met Prince Jin for the first time. He was a handsome and well-mannered man, with a passion for knowledge that matched Lin's own. As they exchanged stories of their lives and dreams, Lin found herself warming up to the idea of spending her life with him. The wedding ceremony was a grand affair, a harmonious blend of Luoyang and Yindra traditions. Lin and Prince Jin exchanged vows beneath a canopy of silk and flowers, their union symbolizing the promise of a brighter future for both their kingdoms. Over the years, Lin and Prince Jin grew to love and respect one another deeply. They worked tirelessly to improve the lives of their people, implementing new laws, education systems, and trade agreements. Together, they forged a strong and lasting alliance between their nations, one that would be remembered for generations to come. Lin never forgot her passion for medicine, and with Prince Chen's support, she established the first hospital in Yindra. She used her knowledge to train a new generation of healers, who traveled across the kingdom, bringing hope and healing to the sick and suffering. Lee remained by Lin's side, a constant source of wisdom and comfort in her new life. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing year, as they faced the challenges and triumphs of their journey together. On a warm summer evening, many years later, Lin stood on the balcony of her palace, gazing out at the bustling city below. A gentle breeze carried the distant laughter of children and the sound of music through the night air. Lee approached, her aged face still filled with warmth and kindness. "My lady, do you ever miss your homeland?" Lin smiled, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I do, Lee, but I have come to love Yindra as my own. I am proud of the life we have built here, and what we have created." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in hues of gold and purple, Lin knew that her choices had made a lasting impact. She had left behind her dreams and her homeland, but in doing so, she had brought about a golden age for both her people and those of the kingdom of Yindra. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Lin knew that her actions and the love she shared would continue to resonate through generations to come, a testament to the power of hope, courage, and the enduring bonds of love. And that's it for tonight's story. I hope it made you feel all warm and cozy. Good night. Sweet dreams.